Hi guys, Joseph the World here, and today we're going to be talking about, yet again, another nonce. And this nonce is called Alan Hardman, as you'll see in the image. Also, before we move on, a link in the description will be left to the full nonce sting, in case you do want to go check it out and then come back to watch this video, or watch this video first after the information and then go watch that video, but you do you. Now, this next bit might sound a bit confusing, but I promise it'll all make sense. Okay, originally, Alan Hardman messaged to what he thought was a 14-year-old girl, I believe, and after he was caught, because it wasn't actually a 14-year-old girl, it was a paedophile hunting group who set up a decoy account. Anyway, he was sentenced to 6 months in jail or prison, and he had been given a sexual harm prevention order, which was supposed to last 5 years, and he was put in some kind of therapy. And then he spent 6 months in jail, and then he was finally released. But instead of not doing anything like this again, he less than 3 weeks after he was released, he was caught yet again by the same predator hunting group who was tipped off that he was using social media on some kind of device, even though the sexual harm prevention order is supposed to make it sure that he can't use social media or have a device like a tablet or a laptop or a phone or something of that magnitude. Alan was talking to what he thought to be a 12-year-old girl and other multiple minors who were all luckily decoys. And in those 3 weeks, he obviously attempted to groom them, and then he tried to meet up with what he thought was going to be a minor. Thank Christ it wasn't, and he actually met up with the same predator hunting group, got caught again, and that's when he tried to deny the accusation. Obviously, though, he couldn't really deny it after all. They did have the proof, and he was there where they actually arranged to meet up, or what he thought where he was going to meet with a 12-year-old, or at least some kind of minor. After he tried to deny it, and obviously he realised that he weren't going to get out of the situation like that, he tried to explain that he wasn't there to actually have any kind of sexual acts with the minor, even though he just communicated and sent a semi-nude of his crotch to what he believed to be a 12-year-old, which is already fucking disgusting. But he said his mind is also digressing, so he believes he's a lot younger than he actually is. So he was 21 when he tried to meet up with the minor, and yet he believes he's like around the age of 18, which is still really, really, really weird. And if that's some kind of decent excuse anyway, there is no excuse for what he's trying to do and what all these other nonsense try to do. But what actually happened afterwards? Obviously, he was taken back into custody by police, and because he broke or breached his sexual harm prevention order quite a few times, within 3 weeks out of getting out of jail, and because he was already a reoffender, he was jailed for exactly 3 years. In my opinion, that is way too short. He should have been jailed for at least over 10, because less than 3 weeks, 3 weeks after being released from jail, he was already back on social media trying to meet up with what he thought to be a 12-year-old, for God's sake. And also, I quickly wanted to point out, in one of the messages, he told her not to tell anyone who asked that she was 17 if they were to meet. So the 12-year-old was told not to tell anybody that she was 12 and tell them that it was 17. If that doesn't say he was going to try to do disgusting stuff to her, then I don't know what will. Honestly, the guy's a reoffender. He should have been jailed for a lot longer than just 3 years. But it's the 3 years at least something. Better than what half of the videos I've covered, at least in the nonce category, when half these guys get away with it. Talking about Mark Fee. Yeah, that is all that is known about Alan Hardman, the reoffender, the predator, the disgusting nonce who, after 6 months of being in jail, you would have thought he wouldn't use social media, or at least not in a way that's trying to connect with children. But less than three weeks after getting caught, he was caught again by the same people. But yeah, that's all the information I have. I hope the guy never gets out of jail, but obviously, coincidentally, that's not going to happen. Anyway, that's been Joseph the World. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace.